Ano ako? Okay na.
Wait lang.
Wag.
I was told that first year medical school was hard. Second year medical school was harder. Third year was the hardest, and fourth year was the most hardest.
I already knew that med school was gonna be difficult for my mom. Law students manage to maintain a part-time job even though they're students, but then it's next to impossible for med students having 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. days almost every day.
It will take much of my time and it's gonna be very hard. Na I even told my friends na see you in 5 years.
So when I first came into med school, I really expected it to be hard, that I wouldn't sleep, stuff like that.
I feel that it's actually not that hard. It's not extremely difficult that you have to die for it. I think you will be busy all the time, but as long as you do your part, it's gonna be okay.
Med school is gonna be very grueling and demanding as a grad school, but at the same time, I was so divorced from the academic setting for such a long time while working for the government. So I knew med school was going to be difficult.
I knew med school was going to demand a lot from me. Alam ko na magiging mahirap siya. It will take a lot of my time. And I'm not really young, And then, I knew I had to give up my financial independence. Hindi na pwedeng dinner dito, dinner dyan, tas outing dito, outing dyan.
Marami akong pangamba. Alam kong tingin ko, ako ang pinakamatanda nung pumasok ako doon sa medicine at natakot ako na baka maging hadlang yon doon sa pag-aaral.
I really struggled with my learning style. Coming from a pre-med degree that's not so science-heavy, I really struggled with the amount of information that I have to study.
So with my mom, my titos, and my titas being in the faculty in UERM, it made it very hard for me to move around the campus without not making any waves with them. Just the thought of them seeing my grades, both my successes and my failures, created such pressure within me, and it didn't bode well with my mental and emotional health.
Well, first year, particularly first week, sobrang na-shock. Sobrang na-shock ako to the point na sabi ko, ano ba itong pinasok ko? Talagang nag-expect ako na hard siya, pero hindi pa pala hard enough yung pag-expect ko sa kanya. Isa pang struggle ko is of course, yung maintaining my scholarship na sobrang nahirapan ako, sobrang ganun. Tapos yung pressure pa, dagdag na pressure na nag-expect sa yung family mo na, uy, graduate yan as magna cum laude. So, dapat magagawa niya yan. Kaya niya yan yung med school. Pero habang nasa first year ka, sobrang hindi mo alam kung ano talaga i-expect din talaga eh. Sobrang hirap. So, yung pressure na, kaya ko ba? Yan talaga yung pinaka-struggle ko din.
One of the biggest struggles I had in med school was transitioning from a BA course into med school. Just imagine going to med school that you don't even know the cell organelles. The last time you had that was in high school or NATSI in first year college.
As a foreigner studying here in the Philippines, I think that my biggest struggle is the language. Although all lecture are taught in English, but most conversation happens in Tagalog. So even though that I can speak and understand a little bit, it's not enough for me to follow everything.
I'm not a science graduate. I didn't graduate from any allied health sciences courses. I'm a humanities grad. I studied comparative literature, and I wasn't very familiar with most of the subject matter. I didn't feel like I was under-equipped compared to my peers, but I felt like I did have to do a lot more.
When things get really intense, I start to question myself, am I really good enough for this? My close friends know this, that I'm very insecure. Even though people think I'm smart and I seem to keep it together all the time, They know that I don't think I'm really that smart. I just work hard. Also, one of the biggest insecurities for me if I don't do well enough, if I don't get the scholarship, and then this might be the end for me.
Adjusting to the culture, I came from a really, really different culture, which was the seminary, and then have to adjust to study life here. Kasi lahat ng, akala ko magaling na ako, akala ko magaling ako mag-aral. Pagdating dito sa UERM, wala. Nahirapan ako na pasukin yung pag-aaral mismo. So, kailangan kong mag-adjust to study-wise and also yung level ng difficulty kasi post-grad course na to talagang iniisip hindi ka na nila i-baby, hindi ka nila spoon-feed, bahala ka lumangoy o malunod.
I really got my strength from my support systems, my friends, my classmates, and of course my family.
I just chose to see things in a more positive light instead of seeing them as this panel of critics, seeing my grades and automatically comparing me to my brilliant mom. I chose to see them as professionals wanting nothing more than seeing their students excel and moving on to bigger and better things.
Ang pinaka naging salvation ko nun is yung nagkaroon ako ng maraming friends na tumulong sa akin na especially mga higher years na sila yung nagtitip sa amin, ganito gawin mo, ganito aralin mo, ganito ka mag-focus, ganun. Tapos sobrang helpful sila.
I think that reaching out to people who had the background is really helpful because they could explain it in a way that you could understand, unlike in the books where it's really scientific.
You have to build up your support system. Your classmates, your friends, and then your family and the doctors here are all very helpful. So don't be afraid to ask them for help.
Working in the government have taught me to sort of plan out my week and to... Now I also remember that time is very finite. You have 24 hours in a day and you have even less energy to actually make use of all those 24 hours. I just made sure to focus on the work. I didn't really give myself enough time to emote because, you just really have to focus on the work, and that's exactly what I did.
I learned to stop worrying too much kasi useless emotion naman yon, di ba? Worrying. I just had to dedicate my time and effort to things that really matter. I learned to be humble enough to ask for advice from older people, and I learned to loosen up a bit.
Siguro ang nakatulong sa akin mga kaibigan, kailangan kang humanap ng mga kaibigan na baliw dito sa UERM kasi mababaliw ka talaga kung hindi ka makakita ng kaibigan dito. Kapag sabaw na sabaw ka na doon sa inaaral mo, sila yung mag-aangat sa'yo. Sabihin, kaya mo pa yan, kaya natin to, sabay-sabay natin kakayanin to. So siguro dahil sa kung wala sila, siguro hindi ako magtatagal dito sa UERM.
As for me personally, I want to become a doctor and I'm in medical school now because I want to learn for myself, for my family, for my country, and of course for my future patients.
So many people outside the big cities are in need of quality healthcare. A lot of my mom's patients make 9-hour journeys just to seek treatment in Manila, and that shouldn't be the case. I want to do something about it, so I choose to practice the moment I graduate in Ilocos Norte, my province, to make an effort to change that.
Of course, my faith in God and family and yung goal talaga na maging doctor someday.
When I was young, I really wanted to be a doctor, but life took me to a different path. And in third year college, I still realized that I still wanted to be a doctor. I want to continue what the little Trish wanted to be.
So think about why you are here and think about what brought you here and the passions and the desire of becoming a doctor. That's the things that keep me going.
I'm kind of a guy who takes things like one day at a time. So my goals right now might not seem too ambitious. I just try to get by with every day, every week. Like I make sure to make time for the things that matter to me, It's up to the person to sort of like, get through the challenges like his or her way, like be it through investing in a lot of study time or finding ways to insert like all of the things that matter to you between like those moments of studying and struggling.
People kept telling me I don't need to go to school anymore, even my own family. So what do you do when everything or everyone seems to be against you going after your dreams, diba? You just have to try. You do your best and prove them wrong. More than the title at the finish line, the MD, I always want to bring or give something positive to my patients, my future patients. That's the reason why I went to med school anyway, to help people.
That's a good question. A lot of things. Siguro dahil mas matanda ako, parang mas marami ng expectations sa akin. Make or break for me. Hindi na ako pwedeng lumipat, palipat-lipat na. Para sa akin, eto na to. What keeps me also going is yung tuition fee. Ang laking investment yon ng pera. At hindi lang pera yung ini-invest mo, you're investing time, investing emotions, and hindi ka lang naman yung nag-e-enroll dito nag-e-enroll dito yung buong pamilya mo, yung pangarap ng buong sambayan ng madlang tao, nasa iyo lahat. At yun yung nagpapatuloy, sabi sa akin na tuloy mo lang. Umikot ako dun sa wards, nakikipag-usap ako kahit wala lang sa mga pasyente, sabi ko, doon ko maalala na, kaya pala ako nag-medicina, kaya pala sila yung dahilan kung bakit ako pumapasok dito.
They say time management is key and that really should value time studying in med school. But more importantly, more than managing your time, you should also manage yourself. As someone active in several organizations inside and outside school, I can attest that it is possible and it is easy for me to balance so many things with academics and like with my social life. So, and of course, document your stay in med school, take lots of photos, and just enjoy your journey.
My message for the freshmen is to enjoy the journey, savor every moment in med school, and more importantly, take care of yourself so you could take care of other people.
Talagang dadating yung point na madadown ka, sobrang to the point na gustuin mo nang umalis, gustuin mo nang mag-iba ng career path. Pero just don't give up. Talagang you'll see it in the end that it'll be worth it.
It's okay if you have different methods of studying. Don't feel pressured that you have to read all the books. Just find one that works for you. It doesn't matter if you're not the top of the class or anything. At the end of the day, you're all gonna be doctors. You're gonna be called doctor and you're safe.
So studying medicine is not a race. It's actually a marathon. You're not going to study just for the next coming 4 years. You're actually studying for the next 10 years, 20 years, or maybe the rest of your life. So don't compete with each other's, but collaborate. Help each other along the ways. And then I want to add one more important thing is that don't forget to take care of your health. Because even though studying is really important for you to become a doctor, we cannot achieve that without being healthy.
Med school is a sort of level playing field. Your background should not be your weakness. You should find ways to rise above whatever pressure you may have put on yourself. And I think, barring the most crazy of situations and adversity, I think all of us have an equal shot at really excelling in med school. Not just graduating, but really excelling.
Work hard if you're like me, if you also need a scholarship because this school really rewards hard work. My message naman for those who are entering med school later than most, like me, I entered med school when I was 25 years old. And for those coming from non-medical backgrounds, you have to hit the ground running. You have to double the effort because you have to adapt again. And also, most importantly, you have to pray because God will give you the strength to carry on with med school.
mas itutuon ko yung sagot ko doon sa mga tao na parang katulad ko, yung mga maraming pangamba. Pangamba dahil siguro matanda na sila, or hindi maganda yung grades nila, or yung background nila ay malayong malayo doon sa medicine. Gusto ko lang sabihin sa inyong, kasi yung paano ka magsistay dito sa first year, hindi naman dahil kung saan ka galing. Pero kung may puso ka, kung tingin mo porsigido ka, hindi nagiging hadlangan kahit anuman para maging magaling na doktor.
Hi, I'm Candice Chua, your outgoing 2020C batch counselor, cruciate dancer, PRISM member, Agape member, TEDx UERM organizer, and your APMCSN National Finance Officer. And I make it happen.
I'm Jen Foronda. I come from a family of doctors and I make it happen.
I am Andrew Mendoza. I am a scholar, and I make it happen.
I'm Trish Olives, a graduate of BA Development Studies. I took the road less traveled, but I make it happen.
I'm Christina, 我来自台湾 and I make it happen.
I'm Jay. My background is all over the place, but I make it happen.
I'm Jen Bawalan. I entered med school late. I was an FDA pharmacist, and I make it happen.
I'm Kim Bunyag. I may be old, but I make it happen.